Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Leg here representing Team JVS. I'm back here again for another movie review. The name of this movie is called Boogie. So, Boogie is about a coming-of-age story of Alfred Boogie Chen, a basketball phenom, living in Queens, New York, who dreams of one day playing in the NBA. While his parents pressure him to focus on earning a scholarship to an elite college, Boogie must find a way to navigate a new girlfriend, high school, on-court rivals, and the burden of expectation. Now, this was directed by Eddie Huang. He's a writer slash producer of Fresh Off the Boat. This is his directorial debut. This was also written and directed by him, actually. So this is the debut of the actor that's from this title card right here, Taylour Takashi. Now, as far as the backdrop of this, when you're first seeing it, I think that the way that they executed the story is actually really well done. You got this couple, you know, when they're very young, goes to a fortune teller, you know, kind of like debating, you know, this incoming child. And, you know, you can kind of tell like they're already at a rift. They're already at a crossroads, and there's a lot of pressure there. And they're trying to meet expectations, and they're asking this person, what can we do to handle this? But there's something that they do very subtly with tradition, from Asian culture standpoint, with the interaction with the fortune teller, that let me know off rip from a level of respect and honor that, you know, their family already had, regardless of, you know, the withdrawals of issues that they're also having. And I think that that sets the tone of the film moving forward. This film isn't just about basketball. It really actually isn't about basketball really at all, even though that is the epicenter of it. There is a lot of games. There is a lot of things that are happening basketball related, but it isn't contingent upon basketball. Like these kind of dynamics where you have like, actually, this is Eddie Huang's character in this one, because he plays the uncle. He actually stars in this film as well. Just this interaction right here, where he's talking to him about, you know, their family history, that how, you know, him and his dad, you know, they were put in a situation where they didn't have the same amount of luxuries or freedoms or dissections even that Boogie has at this point. And so part of the reason why they're so hampering on him to get this or get that is to get out of a situation that they never had an opportunity to do anything about. And I think that at its core is that everybody feels as though they know what's best for Boogie, except for Boogie. And it's weird because normally, you know, you have a character that knows exactly what they want or need, but this character, they're here to try to be able to be everything they need to be for everybody else. Also engaging with this with a love interest, where this was played by Taylour Paige, and her character in this one is her name is Eleanor. She actually brings a whole different dynamic because she's very much so a Black woman. She very much so is entitled and engaging and smart, also very emotional, but also has her own past. And it also plays a role into the way that Boogie interacts with everybody else around him. And I think that makes for a very good dynamic, personally, from an engagement standpoint. And I think that honestly, Takashi does a really good job for his first outing. I think the only thing that I would say is that he plays this a little too smoothly. Like it's almost like he's playing this as though this is actually happening to him. Like there's nothing about this that kind of seems like he's like overacting or just doing this. Like it kind of seems like this is a ball player. Like this is his family. This is tradition. This is who he is. And he's just playing the role up. And this is his first ever acting role. And I think that is very interesting as well. You also have another rival in this one, but this is our RIP situation. Because I didn't know. I heard, well, one, I'll say this. I knew that the passing of Pop Smoke had occurred in February of 2020. But I didn't know that he had involvement in this film, but he is the rival to Boogie in this film. He is Monk, and Monk is on the team, the squad that is at the top, like top tier. And that's where Boogie is trying to beat. That's who he's trying to go up against. And I'll say, Pop Smoke played his role. Like in terms, well, the thing about it is that most of the scenes they had him in, he was just annihilating people on the court. Like he was intimidating through his mannerisms, through his engagement of eyes. And a lot of the time you don't know where things are going to end up by the end of the movie. And I think that even though the movie ended the way it did, it still wasn't this cookie cutter, simply open and shut case. Like it actually is very much so opening a brand new book more than anything else. Not in the way you would think with a kind of a movie like this. But I will say that the film itself was very endearing. It was very engaging. I think it was a very much so not just coming to family arc, but also from a camaraderie and a team aspect and a family aspect. Because again, a character that's right there, one of his best friends, Richie, who was played by Jorge Lendeborg. He actually has been in a couple of different things, actually. He was in Bumblebee. I think he was also in Alita, the Battle Angel, played the role of Taj. And he's the best friend of Boogie in this film. And there's a sequence with him on the basketball court that happens around the second to third act that is a really fleshed out aspect of what the movie is actually really all about. And Boogie, up until that point, didn't even understand it or comprehend it. And at the same time, I didn't know how much more he could do anything about it because he's being pulled in different directions by everybody, and specifically his parents that can't get on the same sync, even though one of the very first path lines is that I think the fortune teller said that, which I wrote in my notes, that the easiest way to melt a sword is with a warm and a connected heart. And I think that that's where it started, but somewhere along the way, like they still were getting ripped back and forth between each other, and that caused so much dissension and issues when it came to the actual process of way Boogie was even going as a man in the situation that he's in. Again, it's a lot of different actors in this one. I think that the film itself, from a cinematography standpoint, I think the cinematography when it came to the basketball stuff just wasn't that good to me. Like I grew up on like Above the Rim, White Man Can't Jump, like the Hurricane. Like I mean, not to say like it's got to be a Coach Carter or anything like that, but I think that they had a great soundtrack and a feel to it being its own thing. But I feel like in the moments where the basketball game was going on, I couldn't tell what was going on sometimes. Like there was this flashing back and forth, back and forth. And again, I also used to look at shows like One Tree Hill. And I mean, those guys couldn't necessarily play professional ball or even on a high school collegiate level. But I could tell what was going on the court. And I think that some moments in this film, I couldn't tell. And it wasn't, I think that the other thing about it, that wasn't what this was about. It was just a plot point to engage you to understand why Boogie is working to ways he is. But it to me, it was kind of like, oh man, like if that one little thing would have been a good nudge to add things on. Not just that, this is not necessarily a hopeful film either, because there's so much stress and strain that's going on, a lot of times you kind of feel a little jaded and kind of feel sorry for the situation. And you don't really feel as uplifted other than when the character interactions are happening or the engagement things are happening. Not just that, if you're looking for an actual punchline to see this is the solidified end, that's not this film. To me, I think that I would rest this at like a 6.5, a 7 out of 10. I'll leave it at a 6.5 because I felt like I didn't necessarily enjoy the back half as much as the things that were happening for the setup. I think the setup was setting me up for something really thrilling and engaging, but then it's kind of like you put a block here that you couldn't get past, and it's kind of like you maneuvered around the block, but it still didn't punch through it. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't even have been a block that was even set. I think that one thing that they added in the second act of this was unnecessary, in my personal opinion. I feel like it was just drama to add more drama when, in fact, the only thing that was holding back or holds Boogie back is not necessarily his parents, not necessarily his girlfriend, not necessarily his heritage or people around him. It's his own understanding of who he is and what he is and what he has to be, who he has to be around other people, because Boogie is a hothead. Like, he gets all up in people's faces, and it's not that he's a bad person. Like, he's actually really good, but the circumstances around him have him so estranged to everything that he just kind of pulls everything around him away. And so I don't know. I'll rest this at a 6.5 out of 10. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. Definitely go and check out the film if you get a chance to. And I'll talk to you guys later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.